Daylight, my envies, welcome. Royal earthquake, Ebony breaks. I gave him my youth, my soul. Now he betrays me for Naomi. Ooni of Ife's love declarations spark yours in the palace. That is what is going on right now. They said Ebony is crying and crying and crying of how she sacrificed so much. She was betrothed to the Ooni of Ife, as we all heard, and they were supposed to get married. She gave everything to Ooni of Ife, and Ooni of Ife betrayed her. And this is not the first time, neither is it the second time or the third time. Now, the thing is that it's just that we just want influence so much that we do not understand when to stop. Because if the information is correct, she met this man a long time ago. As a matter of fact, they met, according to her, spiritually. This man left you, married a Wurola, left Wurola, went for Lori Naomi. Where were you? Yes, where were you? Because the last time we checked, you had been with another person. There is a beautiful girl that came from that person. So why is it looking as if this whole thing is Queen Naomi's fault or Queen Naomi's business? It is not. They say, marry your marry, let me marry my marry. Queen Naomi married her marriage, married the man that she wanted to be with. The interference came from you guys. They said the palace could no longer pretend. The walls that had held centuries of sacred loyalty, rivalry, and hidden pain were now listening to the sound of one woman's heartbreak as it broke through the heavenly guarded silence. It wasn't a whisper this time. It was a scream that cracked through the royal courtyard in the late hours of the night. Ebony had finally, broken down. For months, she's had, marked her anguish behind bold fashion, loud laughter, and intimidating silence. She had played the politics well. She had followed the ancient code, spoken when necessary, smiled in public, and aligned herself with power, even when her heart was bleeding. But the moment the Ooni of Ife made his private love declaration for Olori Naomi, known to the royal cycle, it was over. The marks dropped, the pain erupted, the bitterness she had tried to hide could no longer stay. I gave him my youth, my soul. Now he betrays me for Naomi. The word escaped her lip like fire, her voice echoing through the marble hallway just outside the inner chamber. She didn't care who was listening. She didn't even care that the maid standing in the corner was trembling, unsure of whether to run or stay. Ebony had held it in too long, and now the dam had burst. Sources close to the royal household confirmed that the Ooni of Ife had recently made a quiet but firm statement to his senior chiefs. It was not during a festival or in front of cameras. It was during a spiritual council. After the the third phase of the ritual, the full moon ritual. When asked by one of the elders to speak plainly about his intention, the Ooni said, Naomi is not just a wife, she is my crown within the crown. Naomi is not just a wife. Olori Naomi is my crown within the crown. You know what that means? Do you know what that means? She is my crown within the crown. Whose heart will not be broken? Those words did not stay contained for long. By evening, the news had filtered back to the women's quarters, and though it wasn't an official announcement, it was loud enough to echo in every ear that needed to hear. Ebony heard it, and she could not bear it. This wasn't just about love. This was not about it was about everything she had risked to be seen, to be accepted, to become the woman beside the most powerful royal figure in Yoruba land. And now that space had been taken, not by strategy, but by destiny. She just could not help it. She was broken. They say she cried and cried and cried and talked about how she was there, how she raised Diola, how she suffered for Diola. They say Ebony wept, not just because she lost a man, she wept because she now understands she was never the chosen one. She tried, she survived, she schemed, but the throne has remembered who it was carved for. And now all she can do is grieve in silence and as Queen Naomi step forward into destiny. The earth under the palace has shifted. The winds have changed. The Ooni has spoken and love, not politics, has written the structure of power. Ebony's tears are the final rains before the sun rises again over the sacred grounds of Ile-Ife. And when that sun rises, it will shine brightest on the woman who once walked away in silence but has now returned as the only one the gods never forgot. And that woman happens to be Olori, Doctor, Prophetess, Queen Naomi. It is not a small something, no. It is not a small something. Ebony is no longer hiding. She now speaks openly to anyone who will listen. I should have left when I saw the sign. She said to one of her sisters whom, visited. But I stayed because I thought I could change fate. I thought if I tried harder, I could, become what he wanted. But I was never what he needed. It is rare to see such vulnerability in palace corridor, even rarer for a wife of the king to speak so plainly. But this is not an ordinary time. This is a moment of palace redefinition, and nothing would be as if, the way it used to be. The Ooni of Ife's declaration is more than romantic. In Yoruba culture, when a king publicly declares a woman not just a wife but as his spiritual crown, he is making her for eternal relevance, okay? She is no longer just a woman in the palace. She becomes a living pillar in the kingdom's spiritual architecture. Her name will enter the oral history archive. Her children will inherit her glory. Her seat will never be reassigned. You see, I think that was why, they fight. You remember when they tried to remove her name from the royal register? Kai, Naomi has been through a lot. And I thank God that God has helped Olori Naomi. That woman has suffered, though. She has suffered so much. But God has shown that He is indeed God. I'll bring you more updates. Do not forget that these are all alleged rumors, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.